Hello guys! Okay, here we got the glide cam, we got the Elangu, C-Intake and the pointer light. There's so many stabilizers to choose from out there, so no wonder why it's tempting to go for the bigger brands. But in this video, we'll take a look at an underdog. A Steadicam that is extremely well designed, it's affordable, and it got some nice features. First off, according to Norwegian law, I have to show you this text because iFootage sent us their products to test them out. Okay, so there are two different types of camera stabilizers out there. You got the popular motorized gimbals and you got the Steadicams. So what is the difference? Let's do a quick comparison. Gimbals are driven by an electric motor to smoothen the shots, while Steadicams eliminates shakiness mechanically using a 3-axis system with counterweights. Gimbals are often easier to operate than Steadicams, but in return, the shots may look a bit more robotic. It depends on the quality of the gimbal and the operator. The shots produced by Steadicam tend to feel more organic, as you have full control of the movements. However, it takes a lot of practice to be a good Steadicam operator. When it comes to price, gimbals are a bit more expensive, especially if you want to mount heavier cameras on them. The Steadicams will be able to mount bigger cameras, which you will see later in this video. Steadicams are also more flexible and reliable, as you don't run out of power, they are more solid, and they will never get a software or hardware crash during shooting. Within the category Steadicams, there are many products. In our last Steadicam video, we made a video about the Elangu S60T, which is really affordable. We also got the glide cam, which is a bit more expensive, yet more solid and stable. And we also got the Wacom Easy Pro, which I actually made 14 years ago, but it still works. And I know there's a filmmaker called Philip Gjertsen who is still using it. So. And then we got our main guy, the iFootage Wildcat Mark III. It comes in both aluminum and carbon fiber. Before we go out and do some test shots, let's see why these stand out from other brands. Here are 5 awesome things with the Wildcat Mark III. You can fold the legs to make it small and compact for traveling. Since the legs create a triangle, you can place it on the ground without fearing that it will tip over. You can adjust the handle to your preferred position. You get an arm support with the product, which will make the whole setup feel easier. Yes, you can get an arm support for the glide cam as well, but it costs $150 extra. That will be $650 in total when buying the glide cam. The iFootage Wildcat 3 aluminum costs only $280 in total. And you get a practical and nice bag with it. Since the Wildcat Mark III is so solid, it can handle cameras up to around 3 kilos. Funker med, va? Wow! And the Sigma 835mm, which is quite a heavy lens. It barely works. If I just lose it now, it will slowly twist around. But as long as I keep it in place, this will probably work. This lens is really nice to use on a Steadicam, because when you zoom, it doesn't move. Because if it moved when you zoomed, you have to recalibrate the whole Steadicam.
Maybe we should show the audience with the GH5 first.
But come on, let's just do a quick test with Eva, because now it's stabilized and.
Okay, a quick test.
Let's get Sindre. Sindre! Before shooting, make sure that the Steadicam is well balanced. This is crucial to get smooth shots. To see how you balance it, I'll link to my previous Steadicam video in the description. The following shots are not stabilized in post, nor in camera or in lens, only by the Wildcat Mark III Steadicam. Okay, so that was with a heavy setup, which can be quite exhausting. But actually, the heavier the setup is, the smoother the shots will be. Look at it as shaking a heavy stone versus shaking a tiny stone. The heavy stone will move slower. Now let's test the Steadicam with a lighter setup. Here we are in Oslo. It's freezing cold, but luckily this is going to warm our hearts so we don't freeze. Okay, that was skikkelig teit. So we will do some test shots with the Wildcat, the GH5. And since this is lightweighted, we can remove some of the weights down here and keep it short. So with the autofocus inside the GH5, this is going to be an exciting run and gun setup. So let's test that out. And Thomas, can you join? Can you be the model?
Yeah.
Cool. Let's go.
Come.
To give the Steadicam a real challenge, we wanted to vary the speed and directions in the scene. I made Thomas walk up some stairs before running. Okay, Thomas, det gikk litt for fort for meg. Pretend you are running fast, but you do it slow. In our first shot, I turned on the stabilizer inside the GH5. If it looks like you're running slow, we can just speed it up.
I remember you did that with my girlfriend. She looked like a rabbit.
Oh yeah, in a horror movie. Yeah. Okay, one more time, and now without the
One more time?
Without stabilizer. Okay, one more time, and I will buy you a coffee.
Coffee?
We have coffee at the office. Okay? Yes.
I love you.
On the left side, you can see how the shot turned out without the stabilizer inside the camera. And on the right is the one with the stabilizer turned on. As you might see, the left and right movement is the most noticeable when it comes to shakiness. And this is often the hardest movement to make smooth. And the reason why this is happening is because the distance between the weights aren't that long, and the rig is quite lightweighted. So when you are following a person, you would like to have the screen towards you, like this. But when you walk backwards and you want him facing towards the camera, walking in your direction, it's a nice trick to just adjust the screen, flip it around. Then you can walk forward and still see the person you are filming. But this means when you adjust the LCD screen, you have to adjust the counterbalance as well. So that's one of the reasons why it's nice to have these small knobs. You can just quickly turn the knobs and it will get in balance. So that was some controlled test shots. Let's do some improvising, Thomas, where I need to follow you and I don't know where you're going or doing. So that can happen in some scenarios when you're filming. So let's test that out and see how the Wildcat handled that. Often people seek Steadicams that are small and light-weighted, so they can shoot for a longer period of time. But light rigs are more sensitive to movements, So let's see what we can do back at the office.
Good job.
Yeah.
Okay, now let's have a coffee.
Yeah.
We tried to mount the wireless follow focus system Aperture DEC to make the rig a bit heavier and to see if we could control the focus from the handle, because you don't want to touch the camera when filming with a Steadicam.
This is both a speed booster and a wireless follow focus. Okay, now the whole setup is a bit heavier because of the bigger lens and the adapter, so we have to add some weights. Actually, let's add a monitor instead of the weights. It's easier to see the focus with a monitor. So maybe we can mount the monitor down here. I think then we have to use your monitor. We only have one monitor, so...
I want to use it.
You want to use that? It's important to tighten everything really hard now, or else if it moves during the shooting, you have to recalibrate. So yes, I think we got it. Since it's a speed booster, we get down to 1.0 aperture. Oh, this is actually a bit heavy. This is a bit heavy. Since we are all the way out here with the handle, I'm both afraid that it will fall apart, and also it's too heavy for me to use my thumb to focus. But what we can do is that we can have a focus puller and action. Almost.
Okay, it didn't work as easy as I thought. But luckily, you don't always need to focus during a Steadicam shot to make it look professional. So let's go out and find a nice spot and maximize the potential of this rig.
Oi, oi, oi! Look at this! I'm using the Shogun Inferno and the V-mount battery to power the Shogun Inferno as counterweights, and since it's such a long distance between them, they will eliminate all the twists and turning shakiness. Yeah, I'm just curious if this will work. You will see. This is heavy, but for fictional scenes where you have control of the shots, I think this is a good solution. So yeah, let's do some test shots. Can you join?
Yeah.
Vær så god.
Another crucial step to create smooth Steadicam shots is to move your body the right way. I explained a little bit about it when I made a video about shooting stable handheld shots. You gotta bend your knees and walk softly. A trick is to try to avoid making any noises with your feet. The less noise your feet are creating, the better. And also your arm should work like a spring, absorbing and removing the movements coming from your feet hitting the ground. Every month we show our patrons an early access of each YouTube video we make, so they can give some inputs on the video and also ask questions about the products. So we have received some questions about the Wildcat. Let's take a look at them. Okay, so Patrice asked, what's the maximum load capacity of the Wildcat? On the aluminum version, you can have a camera up to 3 kilos. On the carbon fiber, you can have cameras up to 1.5 kilos. But this is based on the weights you get with the Wildcat. If you add more weights yourself, you can also have a heavier camera. That's a great thing with a solid Steadicam versus a motorized gimbal. He also asks, is it possible to mount it on a vest? It should work if you find an arm that has a spool adapter of around 19mm. You should be able to mount the Wildcat on it. And then we have rig. Maybe you could discuss when to use this Steadicam versus, say, your Easy Rig. Well, Easy Rig's main purpose is to distribute the weight of the camera throughout your whole body, making it easier to operate the camera for a longer period of time. It does keep your camera more stable, but that is just when standing still. When you walk, it will shake. Rick also asks, without a focus puller, I assume you are relying even more heavily on autofocus. That's right, and that's why it can be beneficial to use cameras with autofocus. We used autofocus on the GH5 as we showed earlier in this video. He also asked, perhaps you could describe any missing features that otherwise be present in the perfect Steadicam. That's a really good input. What I would change with this product would be to have longer legs, or at least opportunity to add longer legs. It would definitely help to remove rotational shake. As you could see earlier in this video, I made the legs longer with my own monitor arm. But since it's not meant for mounting on a Steadicam, and my muscles started to shake when I got tired holding the Steadicam, the vibration made the Steadicam shake a bit, as you can see here. Again, this was without stabilizer turned on inside the camera. Thanks for the questions. If you want to join our little community on Patreon, click the card appearing now. So, should you get yourself the iFootage Wildcat Mark III? Well, the answer is quite simple. If you want a good and affordable Steadicam, this is it. Especially the aluminum version, which can handle cameras up to 3 kilos and which costs only $280. Just remember again that Steadicams are harder to operate than gimbals. I believe that this Steadicam is the perfect tool to practice and become the master of Steadicams. Good luck! Then it's the Filmmakers World Cup. The score has been given from the last challenge, and we also have a new filmmaking challenge for you. We will have prizes for the best filmmakers when we end the season in around April. The competition is free and it's never too late to join. I see you again soon. Ha det bra!